Okay, so this is going to be the second video about how to show GitHub in much more details. Just to mention, I am not a good YouTuber. I don't make videos, and I'm not going to be editing this video as well because I don't have the editing skills for that. So if you want to know how to exactly use GitHub, like in terms of tiny, small details, I would recommend opening like another video that shows how to use it. But I'm going to be showing this how to use the GitHub in the LMForge in full details. So let's start with what GitHub is. People who doesn't know what GitHub is a web platform that multiple people can be pushing their codes into. It's a way of handling multiple groups, like multiple codes at the same time, without having any conflicts, without having any issues. It kind of keeps like it's like a workflow of handling codes. So since we have about 30 people in the class right now in the LM Forge fall of 25, so this is why we decided to go with GitHub since it makes our life easier in terms of handling the changes for the code. So first step is going to be making a GitHub account. People who doesn't know GitHub account, well, I'm not going to be showing that in full details because that's going to take a lot of time. But again, you can just sign out, put your details in, and then sign in. When you sign in, this is going to be your landing page. You might see something else from mine, but the concept is the same. So, uh, if you don't know how to get to this page, which is the LM Forge, if you go to the Discord, the thing we have right now, so this is our GitHub, sorry, this is our Discord server. You click on the important resources, and then you see a link in here. It's called GitHub repo, right? So you either like you can copy this link, you can click on this link, it will take you to the same page that we are using right now. If you want to be added to the GitHub repo, which is something it's not mandatory, but I would really recommend it. It is mandatory if you are the person who's working on pushing the code. So like if you want to have the code, the actual repo on the side, there's a list that I have added. So if you go to the shared Google Drive folder, and then you need, I mean, you just have to switch the MTU accounts in order to get access. And then there's a folder in here called GitHub list. So if you still haven't added your name to this list, please do that. And then by doing so, you will have access to having, like you would have access to the GitHub repository. So, okay, this is the first step. Just make a GitHub account, make sure you're logged in, make sure you can see this page. Now, I'm not sure if you don't have access, you might not be able to make any branches. So if that's something you have an issue with, you can always reach out and say, hey, I don't have access to the GitHub repo, give me access to the GitHub repo so I can make changes to GitHub repo. So again, just this is a very basic level of the GitHub video, right? So what is it like? What does this page mean? So this is the landing page of the codes. In this file, you can see all of the project codes that we have done so far. You can see all the files, all the codes. You can click on them. You can see what every code is. And then, hey, like, I want to see what LMForge core is. I'll just click on it. I would see a lot of files in here. Click on one of the files, and this is it. So this is what the GitHub is, basically. It's a way of making changes to the code. Now, there is something called branches. Branches is, again, since this is a combination of multiple teams working on the same thing, not all the teams are going to be working on the same exact branch. A branch is like a cluster. So I'm going to like show it in more details right now. It's going to be much more clear. But if you click on this drop down menu, you would see the branches we have done so far. So I have these following branches. In total, I have 10 branches, which is going to show us on the side. The main branch is kind of like the default branch that all the codes goes into. Now the main branch is a branch that nobody is going to be touching, so you don't even need to worry about it until the end of this course. The main branch is a protected branch, so no one can actually make any changes to it even if they try to do so. So this one is not something that we're going to be doing or like handling until the end of this course. So what is the next step then? I made a new branch. I call it the Fall 25 MIS 4000 5000 DEV branch, which is, again, if you don't know what branches is like a cluster. So not all the codes are the same between the main and the DEV branch, which I will show in more details how changes happen between those branches. So what I want teams to do, like, hey, okay, how can I actually start doing my code then, right? On the side, there's something called, again, branches. You need to click on that. I need every team to make their own branch. So every team is going to be creating their own branch for the LMForge project. So the way you do that, again, there's a big green button that says new branch. So you click on that, and then you have to give a branch name. As I mentioned, please keep the naming consistent. So people in the future are going to be using this repo, like this project. So we would love for those people when they come like 1 year or 2 year later, 2 years later from now, they at least know what, hey, like what did this team did and what did this, like what future did they add to it, and from which class they came as well. So for the now, please keep the naming as in fall 25, and then you call it MIS 4000 5000, which is the class name. And the the thing that comes next to it, well, you can kind of name it whatever you want to name it, but keep the naming clear so at least people in the future would know what this is. So for now, I would call it adding files, which I'm going to be showing how the GitHub works in terms of like branches. So I'm gonna just click on create this branch. Oh, so I forgot to mention, this is really important. When you do the branch, please make sure you're not on the main. This is something important because again, the main is not gonna be something that we're gonna be doing any updates into. So you always go to the .dev branch. Always make sure you're on the dev branch, not the main branch, and then create a new branch. So we have made a new branch. We call it adding files. That branch now exists in here in this list. So you click on that. Now again, you might think, hey, it kind of looks the same. Nothing is different, which is actually true. This is the same. We still haven't made changes yet. So how does this work then? Hey, I want to make a new updates to the code. I want to make new things to the code, which is I'm actually going to be start by kind of making changes to this one. This is a very old readme file, by the way. So please don't follow this one. People have been complaining about this one. We're going to be changing it in the upcoming future. Just again, just to show, as for show, I'll click on edit. And hey, for example, this piece of line code in number 6 doesn't work anymore, so I'm just going to delete that, right? And then I'll do commit. So by doing commit, you're actually confirming the changes right now. So I'm going to do commit to that branch. Okay, so if you want to go back, you can just click on the LMForge. It's going to take you back. Now, hey, I don't see the 6 spot down there anymore because I did delete it. But now here's what the difference between branches. So hey, when I go back to the DEV branch, which is the main one, and I go down, this one still has the extra 6th place, right? So this is what branches mean. Branches mean every branch, like any changes between branches would stay in that branch until we actually want to connect these branches, which I'm going to show how we're going to do that. Just for safety, I don't want to actually lose this one yet since we're still not finished with it. Okay, so this is how you can jump between branches back and forth. So let me go back to the adding files branch and then go to the very bottom. I click on again add, just add it again and then commit it again. Then do commit. So now it just should be back to it and here down there. Okay, but how let's just try to show a real life example. So let me add a file. So you can you can either do a drag and drop or you can upload a file to it. I'll just make a new file. Then I will call it give it a header of this is only showing how to add files. And then the naming, again, you can name the file anything you want. It depends on what the file is. Is it a Python? Is it like a README file? So I'm gonna do it as like a README file since it's kind of easy to actually handle. So I'll just call it log.md. Then I'm gonna commit these changes. I'm gonna commit the change. So this is what all my files are. If I go to the log.emd, which is like this is only showing hot files. This is the new update that I have done to the code, right? Which is like showing in here. So now this is only in this branch, but if I go to that branch, the DEV branch, I I don't see my changes in here, right? But hey, I want to actually like, hey, I finished building a feature for the project, but now I want to push it to the DEV branch. How can I do that? So you go back. Actually, you don't need to go back. You just click on pull request. You can see up top there's something called a pull request. So you click on that, and then you kind of see what things in like what are the current open one, what are the closed ones, what are the authors and stuff, and things like that. So let's click on a new pull request. Okay, I want to make a new one. So you can see this small arrow. Always pay attention to that. It's kind of showing from which branch you are going into what branch. Like what are the changes you want to push from one to another. So click on the drop down menu. We click on adding files, which is the things we just added into it. And then the next one is gonna be the DEV branch, which is what team are gonna be pushing the updates into. So you kind of see what are the updates down here. Like, hey, you added a new line in this file, and then you actually create a new file called log.md, right? So I'm gonna create this pull request. So now I have created pull request. In the description, please write all the details for the updates that you are doing. Uh, I think in one of the previous classes we used to have like a pre-made survey that you can like just sign in. But for now, for the sake of simplicity, just write everything you want to do. What are the changes you have done? What are the file names that you kind of changed, right? So just to keep it simple for this video, I'll just say we have added a file named log.md for showing logs, and I'm gonna create that pull request. Okay, so now I have this pull request, right? So now if I click on pull requests, oh, like I have this one, it's called adding files. It has done by me, and then so in terms of pull request, not everyone will have the ability to confirm the pull request, and you have to suggest someone to review your pull request. Like you have to assign someone. Like, hey, can you confirm my pull request? And for these ones, it's either gonna be someone who is authorized to actually review it, or either like someone with uh like a like a high access that can actually confirm it for you. But just again, for the sake of making this as a simple video, I'm gonna confirm my own pull request. So I'm gonna merge it. I'm gonna click on merge, and it's gonna show me those details. Like, hey, this is what the thing is. So I can click on confirm. Like this commit was authored by blah blah blah, whatever, whatever. Then I'm gonna confirm merge, and that should be it. As soon as you confirm a pull request, it can actually close this, so it disappears from here. It like goes to the closed ones, adding files. So going back to the top, you go to the code, you click on code, and then you go to the branch, which is the DEV branch. Remember, we didn't have the log file before. Now we actually have that log file. Now it does exist on our GitHub project, right? So this is how you push your updates into between branches. I hope that was kind of clear. Again, I'm trying to make it as much simple as I can, but this is how GitHub works. You can actually let me show how you can upload files. So you click on upload files. It's kind of drag and drop. Let me see if I have anything that I can drag and drop into here. So let's say, oh, I have this from another project that I was working on. It's like a confusion matrix for some values, and then I'm gonna do commit to that. I'm just gonna process my files, and it's like, oh, this is the file is now a part of the DEV branch. Pushing directly to the DEV branch is not recommended. I think we're gonna have a locked, like we're gonna have this branch locked anyway. But I'm just again showing you this for the sake of the video. So you can do drag and drop. You can either manually create a file and then work on that. You can also delete these files because I don't want people to look at my confusion matrix for for this project. So I will do delete file, and then it's just gonna show what are the things, and then do commit changes. Like, hey, this is the thing. Again, you have to kind of describe what you are doing right now. I'm not gonna be doing this because I'm just deleting the confusion matrix. Now we have this file, the log.md. Okay, so this is the basics of using the browser. Now, no one is actually going to be coding using the browser. Most of the people would either have a Git or a GitHub desktop. So I'm going to be showing the GitHub desktop first. And then if people want to learn how to use Git, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be showing it in this video. So you should kind of try to find something else. Now, this branch is going to have been causing me issues, but I'm just going to go to the main fetch origin. You should always click on fetch origin because any changes you do, it's going to be in here. Then go back to the DEV branch and fetch the origin for this branch, and it should be up to date. I don't know why this branch is causing this issue, but again, this is just because of my computer. Okay, so this is the GitHub desktop page. Actually, let me go from the beginning then, because people might not know how to add the LMForge to the GitHub desktop. Which I think I'm not gonna be able to because I cannot really sign out of the GitHub desktop. Yeah, I cannot really sign out of the GitHub desktop. It's not an option, I'm assuming. So the way you do it, if you don't see this page, but again, you should always try to find something that says clone repository. Not don't add a new one, don't add the local one. You should always clone one because we're gonna be cloning this one. I honestly can do it really quickly. So this is how you do it. This is our LMForge application. I'm gonna be completely removing the LMForge, which I'm gonna regret doing this in a few minutes. But okay, remove it. I don't want to see it anymore. It doesn't exist on my system anymore. But hey, I want LMForge, right? So I click on clone repository. What is the name of it? So if you have been added to it, it should show up to you in here, which I believe it should be LMForge. Oh my god, I cannot find it. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be editing this video, so I'm not going to be removing these things. Okay, here it is, LMForge. If you don't see it, that means you're not added to it. So if you're not added to it, how can you clone it? You can still clone it without being added to it, by the way. You don't need to have access to it. But you click on this thing, the URL, the link, and then you paste the repo link in here, and then you do clone. So I'm cloning the LMForge application right now. It might take a minute or two, but hopefully it doesn't take that long. Okay, yep, it's going fast. Okay, now we have the LMForge repository on the side, which is good. So this is how you get the LMForge. This is how LMForge exists in your system right now. And if you want to actually see it, you can either open it in Visual Studio Code. This one will not be showing to you if you don't have Visual Studio Code. If you do have Visual Studio Code installed on your system, it will show up for you. If you don't have it, it's not going to show up for you. But you can see all the LMForge files on the side already built up for you. Or yeah, you can like also open the folders. So if you click on the folders, this is what my LMForge application look like. So, but again, this is the main branch. We're not gonna be doing anything to it. I want to go back to my adding files branch, right? When I click on that, I fetch origin. Actually, yeah, you should always click on fetch origin. And then, hey, I want to see my files again. You can actually see the log file. The log file did not exist on that one. Let me see if I can cheat the system a little bit. Okay, so keep your eyes on the log file. And then, hey, I want to switch to the main branch. Main branch doesn't have the log file. So you see, it kind of disappears. It like goes away for you. But hey, I want to go back to adding files branch, and it just comes back to it. Okay, I think the DEV branch still has the. So yeah, I want to jump to the DEV branch. We still have the log file in there. But hey, I want to remove my log file. I'm not gonna do it through the browser. I want to do it through this guy. So how do I do it? So GitHub desktop always keeps up with the changes that you do in here. For example, let me just go and update my log file. Remember, I opened my VS Code right now. You can see all the files on the side. I want to go to log.amd. So this is only showing how to add files. Then I'm gonna say I will also show how to delete files, and then I want to save that. Anything you do, any updates you do, is actually gonna like the GitHub desktop is gonna detect it and start showing it for you. Like, hey, you added a new line and then you added the following new line as well that says I will also show how to delete files. Then you click on commit. Again, it's the same as the web browser. You have to say what are the changes that you have done and then you do commit. But the difference between this and the browser, the commit doesn't really go directly to the browser. You have to push it in order to see the actions in effect. So if I go back in here, and again, this is my log. Oh, sorry, this is not the. This is the branch that I'm working on right now, which is adding files. I click on log. I, I, I don't see my new changes in here, right? Because I have not pushed it yet. Then when I click on push, like, hey, I want to push my new updates to the cloud, then it does get pushed, and now I refresh. Like, hey, I will also show how to delete files, so I can see my new changes in the web page. Everyone else using the same branch would have this, like, would see the changes that you are doing right now. Okay, I hope that is clear so far. So any changes you do, it's gonna be showing in here. Anything you do is gonna anything you change in here, like in terms of the codes, which just to show a real life example more than like the basic one that I'm showing right now. So if I go to the views, oh, this one doesn't really have much of a code. I want to see like a chunky code like this one, for example. And hey, I don't need my download CSV function anymore. I want to just comment it out and then do save. Then I go back to the GitHub, like, oh, you have commented this piece out. So, like, you have changed this piece with this piece, which is basically just commenting everything out. This is how a real life example would look like, or if you want to add a new code and such. But I don't want to be doing that, so I'm gonna get everything back to how it should. And it does actually detect, or like, you just made everything back, so I'm not gonna be showing anything in here on the side. Okay, let's delete the file then. I want to delete my log.md file. So, going back, I have a bunch of files. This is the file that I don't need anymore, right? So I can just simply delete it. I just take it out from the code and it's gonna be detected in here like, hey, did you actually remove this file? And yes, I did. You can like if you make a mistake, you can send the file back. So if I if I click on discard changes, it's gonna send my file back in here like, oh, so I think that you did a mistake. I'll just give you a file back. But I actually didn't make a mistake. I really want to remove this file, so I click on yes, and it's gonna show up in here. So you still have a chance to go back if you want to, and there is a history as well. I'm not really, I'm not sure if you can pull out from history. Like, hey, you made a mistake in one of the pull requests, and you want to just pull it back. I'm not sure if you can. You could, But if that is something, well, that's good. But I have never used it before. So let's confirm deleting this file. Like, hey, I really want to delete this file. I want to commit it, and then I'm gonna push it. So I'm gonna fully delete this file that I have right now. So going back to the LMForge, I actually deleted this file. I don't see it anymore. But hey, if I go to my DEV branch, remember we actually made a pull request. We didn't remove it from this one yet, and we didn't even push the new edits to it. But I wanna merge them together. Like, I wanna make the same updates to the DEV branch that I have done to my original branch. So the way it works, again, going back to the GitHub desktop. Now, I kind of mentioned it in the first video, but I don't think you can do a pull request using the GitHub desktop like interface. You have to be forced to go to the web browser. There are multiple ways. If you don't see this one, like create a pull request on here, you can always click on, I always forget, file, view, create a pull request. You click on branch at the top, and then like at the bottom it says create a pull request. Or you can always click on this one, current branch, and then click on pull request, and it should show up in here. So if someone already had made a pull request, it's gonna show up in here. But if you want to make a new one, there's like always a link that you can make a new one. So click on create pull request, and then hey, again, remember these small arrows, which updates you want to go to which branch. So it kind of already selects this one for us, adding files. Well, I mean, we're not adding anymore, we're kind of deleting. And then I want to select the DEV branch, which is the main one that the teams are going to be using throughout the course. And it's going to be saying like, oh, I kind of detect the following change. It's not going to show it because it says like this file was actually removed. This is what the update is. You can always write what are the changes you have done. Remember, that's actually really important. And then you click on create a pull request. Now, after doing the pull request, remember not everyone would have not everyone will have the authority to actually confirm it. Only a certain amount of people would have that. Now, let me go back to the GitHub desktop just to show the example. So now when I click on branches, click on pull request, click on refresh, I can actually see it. I do have a pull request from the following thing, right? Okay, actually, I'm not sure if it shows up or not. Oh yeah, I think it does. Okay, that is actually good to know. This is something new for me as well. That kind of shows the updates between the branches. So, like the pull request. So let me just confirm that. I'm going to confirm the pull request. The pull request is basically deleting this file, or kind of like say, I cannot speak anymore. Click on commits. It show up the pull request. So the pull request, the last one we did, is that delete log.md, right? So I'm going to confirm that. Let me just confirm merge and confirm merge. Okay, that is confirmed. Which is kind of basically we have done the same thing. So if I go back to the DEV branch, I deleted the file. But yeah, it's not only I know that I'm showing a really basic about delete and add files, but imagine you have added million lines of codes and million new files and a lot of things, and you don't want to be pushing them one by one, doing a single commit every time. Like, hey, I want to go to this file, make some changes, and then commit and whatever. So again, I would recommend using GitHub Desktop. At the end of making a new update, new feature, make sure to sync up first. Always click on fetch origin. This is something really important. Again, please click on this one. I'm gonna show what are the why do we need to always click on fetch origin. So again, go to the DEV branch, which is this one. Then I want to make a new branch, right? Again, I'm gonna show how to make a new branch. Click on branches, and then click on making a new branch. I'll just call it fall 25 MIS 4000 5000. Call it why we always fetch. Why do it's fetch with an E? Sorry, fetch. Why do we always do that? Okay, so now I have a branch that's called why we always fetch. If I go to my desktop oh my sorry, GitHub desktop, I'm not gonna see it in here, even if I look for it, even if I Google it. Like, why yeah, I mean, you see, it's not showing up, and it's like, suggest if you want to, hey, if you want to make that branch, but I don't want to make it because I already have it. But I haven't fetched my data yet from the cloud. So you always fetch, and then you look, and now it should exist. See, why we always fetch. So please, when you work with codes, make sure every time you open the GitHub desktop or open anything, you should always fetch. Because how does a conflict happen? I don't think I can show it right now because I don't have multiple users at the same time. But the way that a conflict happen, imagine two people working on the same code on the same file. For example, I have two people. Let me just try to find a code that does work. So let's say two people are fixing this README file, and two people pushed updates to the same file. Now we have something called a conflict. Like the GitHub would not know which one to listen to first. Like, hey, I got two updates from different people at the same time, so I'm not gonna be pushing anyone until I know what to do with them. Like, which one should I resolve first? So that's why I'm saying you should always keep your thing up to date, just in case someone pushed an update to the like GitHub, but you're still using the old version of the GitHub. So now there's a conflict because again, your code is not the same as the main one, and the guy who pushed the code and you didn't sync up with the new code that someone have uploaded yet. I hope that makes sense. We don't love seeing conflicts. Conflict will always happen, but we kind of try to minimize them as much as we can throughout the GitHub. So this is the as best as I can in terms of going into details and tips. Again, I don't know how minutes I'm in. I'm like 30 minutes so far. So I think that should be a really good 30 minutes. If you want to learn the tiny bitty pieces of how the GitHub codes work, I would recommend watching someone with more professional skills than me of making videos. But I'm just making this for the sake of this LMForge project that we have. And thank you so much. See you in class, and thank you.